Gary Vee would.
Hey, Gary Vee's got a smoking hot new side piece, dude.
Really?
Yeah, pull up Gary Vee's new chick. King Croc, we'll get back to the straight stuff. I'm sorry, dude.
Nice. We do have a guest today. It's a Romanian rapper, and he should be here soon. They're on their way. Sorry, they had to wait because they were getting some chick to bring.
Of
here,
course,
so
of course.
great.
Here we go.
A rapper can't be seen without a chick.
Here's Gary Vee's new chick, dude.
Oh yeah.
You like that, King Croc?
Wow, look at that bod. That bod, dude, the fake titties.
Yeah.
And look at that waist, dude. Her ass is probably popping. She looks like one of those Russian kind of mail order, like perfect brides.
Looks like a doll.
I'd say she's got to be Jewish for Gary Vee to date her.
How many NFTs did he trade for?
Israeli.
Dude, it took me like 2 crypto punks and one of my bored apes, dude.
He
Why are
called
you so
it
good
though.
at that voice?
He kind of calls a lot of things though. He did say like 99% of the NFTs were gonna go to, or they're gonna go to shit.
You know, I back Gary Vee. I don't hate Gary Vee at all. But
I like him.
I just, I mean, you can only be so rich and so plugged in society before you need to upgrade your chick. And can we pull up Gary Vee's original wife right now? Because she looks nothing like this girl. I want it to be said. Yeah, this girl is so hot. I mean, she's got to be, because Gary Vee is like fully into Jewish tradition. She's got to be Jewish too, wherever she's from. But she's hot. And then let's find his old chick. I don't know. There's like a couple of girls that chose him with. What is that his fucking wife?
Wow.
I don't know if that's his wife, dude. Like, it's really hard to find his wife. I was looking. I don't think that's Gary Vee, is it? The point is that Gary Vee was too rich and too plugged in and too good at his job to not upgrade to a 10.
Damn.
Okay? That's how it works, unfortunately.
Danny, do you think? I mean, his advice though, it's good shit. A lot of the stuff he said. Why do people think he's corny, or why do people talk shit? I think he's a pretty positive guy. He's basically like super.
I mean,
It's what Danny said before. He's 40 and he dresses like he's 22.
That kind of shit.
Yeah, I think
Whatever, dude. I mean, a lot of people do that now.
It's gonna be me, dude. I'll tell you right now.
I feel like if he wore a suit, though, maybe people would clown on him less, make himself look a little.
Yeah,
more
like act like who you are.
He runs in a suit. He runs in a suit pretty much.
I mean,
every
people
day.
clown on him because he's completely omnipresent on social media. If you scroll down your social media feed, you're going to see his stuff. And he's just swearing into the camera about how you should TikTok more. I mean, obviously, that's going to rub people the wrong way. I mean, me included. Like, dude, you got to get out there. Danny, you have no excuses, bro. Cut up the clips of you out there with Leo Dottavio. Put them on TikTok. Do a collab with the D'Amelio sister. You're leaving the money on the table, bro. Like, that stuff is annoying. I get it, but I mean, he's right.
Yeah, he's right.
I mean, he's fucking right.
No, but like talking about how to save $30 at a garage sale and he flipped it for 23 bucks. You're a millionaire, dude. Like, stop bullshitting us with your garage hack sales and it's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
It's like
he
annoying.
wasn't a millionaire always.
I mean, if you look into his history, family company, family money, family guarantee business.
So what happened? They moved over from, this is what was Gary Vee's background. He had to flee Russia, or not, I mean, somewhere in the USSR as like a refugee because the US government swapped Jews for corn. Or wheat, I believe, was actually the deal we enacted. There were a bunch of Jews that were about to get mistreated in the USSR, so we enacted an economic deal to save those Jews. He came over, a fucking refugee due to this family, and his dad opened a liquor store. So I don't know how.
And it did successful, and it was worth over $3 million when he first took operator.
You don't know that.
That's what I researched.
It might have been worth $3 million after Gary Vee worked on it. But even if it was worth $3 million when Gary Vee first started working on it, Gary Vee's now worth like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Exactly, which is my point. Talk about how you got those. Don't talk about how to be, oddly frugal and these weird kind of like saving hacks, but that's not how you made your money. And that's what a lot of these financial so-called gurus is like, yo, tell us the real. But a lot of times they don't want to tell us the real. Why? Because it's a player versus player game.
See, I don't like how
dog eat dog.
See, King Croc,
negative.
That's the thing.
So
like,
negative.
it comes back to health. Like, it's like you're the guy who you see a video of Jocko Willink or David Goggins telling you not to be fat, and you're like, dog, I know you guys used to be overweight, but your dad had a six-pack. So, like, you've got the advantage. Like, you're looking for every reason not to trust people who are giving fundamentally sound advice.
Are you?
I'd just rather go to the source. I always consider the source. Socrates taught me that.
Always consider the source? Mm-hmm. All right. So why does it matter if it's solid advice, though?
How do I know it's solid advice?
to
lose
eat
weight?
less calories and exercise.
No,
and to,
that's
and to
obvious.
hustle on social media to make a living.
Yeah,
No, that's obviously.
I guarantee you've talked shit about David Goggins before. I know that was a good example of an You've talked shit about him, right?
No,
I don't
talk shit
like that
about him.
guy.
Austin talks shit about him, but I don't.
Why don't you like him, Austin?
I just feel like David Goggins always makes it seem like oh, I had my legs were broken and everything I did was 10 times harder. I'm like, dude, those other guys with you were also probably working just as crazy million times hard. Like, he tries to make it seem like out of everyone, he was just like the most like badass. I'm like, dude, all of y'all were badass. Like, you don't. Maybe you had shin splints, but maybe the other guy's toe was broken. Like, you don't know. Like, maybe he just didn't say nothing.
David Goggins is, I mean, he admits his failures. He admits he wasn't on Delta Force. He like didn't become a Ranger or whatever happened. I've only read his book, Can't Hurt Me, once, but dude, I think he's tougher than almost every human being on the planet. There are dudes in the military who are tougher than them, but I don't think he really refutes that. And people who know him say he's an animal. They say when he has speaking engagements, sometimes he'll run from city to city. Like he'll run
Damn.
like 100 miles to a gig that he has.
And I'm sure he probably does. It's just there were certain comments I've seen of his that make it seem like he was making himself out like he was working so much harder than all these other guys that were like Navy SEALs or whatever
He
with them.
probably
And I'm
is.
like, bro, they were probably dying
He
too.
probably is. I mean, a lot of those guys who were Navy SEAls are probably fat asses who work at a tire shop now, and he's a global figure. Obviously, he was working hard.
Yeah, you got to give him his flowers, is what you're saying. Give him his flowers.
I want to see Austin and Dino in the comment section of a David Goggins video. Would be amazing.
I know people kind of get the same vibe I do, though. It's just from the TikToks, though. It's all I ever see are just like clips of him, and he just seems really arrogant.
That's what we're talking about Gary Vee, too. Anybody who's giving advice in a 60-second clip immediately seems arrogant when there's
Yeah.
no context.
Like,
to
I
it.
haven't read his book or nothing. I don't really know anything about him.
Yeah, dude, he's not one of the most elite people in the military. It took him like multiple times to beat the Buds training Hell Week thing.
He was fat before.
He was super fat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big reason I respect him, by
Yeah,
the
me
way.
he was a
too.
fat
He was like
ass.
He was
300.
fat as
He was
fuck.
300 pounds at some point.
Yeah, but it took him multiple tries to get through Hell Week and Buds to become a Navy SEAL, and then he didn't even make it into Delta Force. And presumably a bunch of people are in Delta Force, and presumably they're better at being a soldier than David Goggins. But dude, like, that's what life is. You try stuff and you make it as far as you can go in one thing, and then you pivot and adjust and add a skill. He added public speaking and writing and being a public figure for being tough mentally. Like that's his thing now. He was like a warrior and a guy who teaches you how to be tough mentally. And he's probably not the best at either of those things, but when you combine them, he's worth all that he's gained.
I think this analogy would demonstrate my point excellently. Take you, Danny Mullen,
Yeah.
versus Jimmy Fallon.
What about
I'm
Jimmy
a
Gambles?
kid. Jimmy who?
Jimmy Gambles, the guy you had sex
I
with.
don't even want to talk about that guy.
Hours straight.
Danny versus Jimmy Fallon, right? You have a kid who says, I want to become a successful comedy YouTube channel.
I have a kid.
No, there's just a random kid.
There's a
and
kid,
he has two options. He either asks you, someone who started from nothing and got to that point, or he asks Jimmy Fallon, who was never originally a YouTuber. Some people would say, well, Jimmy Fallon's so popular and he obviously knows a lot about the craft. He's worldwide famous, etc. But you, Danny, you're not that. But yet you've actually, from the ground up, built a successful comedy YouTube channel, which Jimmy Fallon hasn't. Which one would be smarter for that kid to ask, Danny or Jimmy? That is my point. I want to ask somebody who exactly did that.
Yeah.
Talk about what you exactly did.
Yeah,
nigga.
I thank you. I like it when you punctuate it with
I think your math alarm's going off, Grok.
Yeah, I got it.
You got to do a math problem. Can you tell us tell us what the problem is?
91
King
plus
Grok?
62.
Oh, it's a lot.
153.
There we go. Bam.
High
Hit it.
IQ. 23 plus 30.
53.
52.
Uh,
Oh, wrong. Shit.
wait, was I right?
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were right. Yeah.
High IQ. Listen, King Croc, I got the last problem right. Listen to me. I think Jimmy Kimmel, or Jimmy Fallon, rather, he did work his way up to where he got in the way that he could do in his time. It was before YouTube. He went through improv school. He did improv enough, and I think he did stand-up and released like some comedy albums, got cast to SNL, then ended up where he was. Jimmy Fallon might not be able to give you advice tailored to YouTube, but he could give you advice on how to be resilient in the comedy world. But my problem is I don't think you're even looking for the person who has the quote unquote best answer about fitness. I think you're just calling everybody out as being a fraud and going on Reddit for these insane dietary lists and trying to use that as a weight loss regimen. I just think you should be less cynical about shit and just realize that a lot of people have a lot of good advice.
I get that. I'll consider that for sure. Thanks,
There's
man.
no substitute for hard work, King Croc.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you from somebody who's really lazy. Me.
There's no substitute. I can't. I'm losing my voice doing Gary Vee. I already lost it this
Yeah.
weekend. It was going to go in a gay direction.